This content is for those who live and breathe football, who want to stay informed about the most impactful stories of players who shone brightly but faded away for various reasons. Today, we're delving into one of these names, a gem that promised to be the new king of Catalonia after Lionel Messi's departure. But something went very wrong. Terribly wrong. You'll understand how Ansu Fati, once valued at 80 million euros, now stands at just 5 million euros, living a silent struggle within his own club. A story full of twists, injuries, questionable decisions, and a possible quiet exit. Is there still time for a triumphant return? Stay with me until the end, because what you'll discover might change the way you view modern football. When Lionel Messi left Barcelona for Paris Saint-Germain, the Camp Nou was plunged into silence. Not only did the team lose its greatest idol, but also the symbol of an era. It was in this vacuum of leadership that a name emerged, Ansu Fati Vieira, better known as Ansu Fati. Born in Bissau, Guinea-Bissau, and naturalized Spanish, Ansu was the crown jewel of the legendary La Masia, the academy that produced talents like Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, and of course, Messi. At just 16 years old, he was already scoring goals for the senior team, and at 17, he became the youngest player to score in the Champions League for Barca. With rare skill, refined vision, and a knack for goals reminiscent of the greats, it wasn't long before the club's management placed enormous responsibility on Fati to assume the number 10 jersey, a symbol that carries, in addition to talent, immense emotional weight. In the 2021-22 season, Barcelona was experiencing a new era, rebuilding the squad after Messi's departure. There was Fati, smiling, daring, proudly wearing the number 10. Everything indicated we were witnessing the new protagonist of Spanish football. But then, the silent tragedy began to unfold. Injuries. Successive injuries. Unexpected injuries. Injuries that gradually destroyed the player's confidence, undermined his physique, and kept him off the field during crucial moments. The knee, the thigh, the ankle. Each return was accompanied by promises of overcoming adversity, but also doubts. Fati never seemed to be 100%. The explosiveness that characterized him began to fade, as did his on-field presence. Meanwhile, Barcelona was undergoing internal restructuring and constant changes in the coaching staff. The club that was once a breeding ground for stars became an unstable environment. For a young player in development, the situation was far from ideal. In an attempt to restore confidence and playing rhythm, Barcelona decided to loan him to Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League. The idea was clear: provide minutes, experience, and space away from Catalonia's pressure. But reality was harsh. In England, Fati showed glimpses of his talent, scored some goals, made some good plays, but still couldn't establish himself as a protagonist. The shadow of injuries lingered, and in the high-intensity football of the Premier League, each game was risky. The loan didn't have the expected impact. What was supposed to be a stage of evolution turned into another uncertain chapter in his career book. According to the Transfermarkt platform, Ansu Fati's market value peaked at 80 million euros in 2020, when he was considered one of the world's most promising players. Today, in 2025, he's valued at just 5 million euros. This represents a 93.75% drop in valuation, one of the largest declines ever recorded for such a young and promising player. It's important to highlight that this devaluation isn't solely due to injuries. It's also tied to the lack of continuity, Barcelona's unstable environment, and, according to close sources, the way the management has handled the player's situation. Recently, concerning reports have started to surface. Sources close to the player state that Ansu is deeply frustrated with how the club has been handling him. Despite efforts in training, dedication to regaining his best form, and an explicit desire to bounce back at Barcelona, he feels he's not getting real opportunities to showcase his football skills. The arrival of coach Hansi Flick brought new hope. But so far, the technical staff stance hasn't changed significantly. The player himself has confided to close associates that he expected more empathy and support from the club, especially after all he represents to the fans and the renewal project initiated with his rise. The dissatisfaction doesn't come from the player alone. His representatives, who have been with him since his youth academy days, recently met with key Barcelona officials. The atmosphere was tense. They demand a clear definition. Either the club bets on Fati again, with planning and real playing time, or it's time to consider a new destination. For a club that has demonstrated the importance of its youth academy so many times, the handling of the Ansu Fati case is seen as contradictory and even negligent by some former players and journalists closely following the club. The situation is complex. Fati is still young, only 22 years old, and definitely not lacking in talent. But time is passing, and football is not inclined to wait. The fans' patience is wearing thin, and the market is watching from afar, cautiously. There are rumors of interested clubs, teams from the Bundesliga, Serie A, and even a potential return to the Premier League. But no concrete proposals have reached the table so far. The player himself wants to stay. He wants to prove that he can still be the heir to the number 10 jersey. But it seems his future at Barcelona will depend on decisions made behind the scenes, and perhaps a radical change in how he's treated internally. Since Messi's departure, Barcelona's number 10 jersey seems to have lost its magic. It has become more a symbol of pressure than of leadership. Some fans even talk about a curse of the number 10 on social media, as if its weight is unbearable for anyone wearing it after the Argentine. Is this Fati's reality? Or are we merely witnessing the prologue to an epic comeback of a young man who, against all odds, will rewrite his destiny at the place where it all began? If you've made it this far, comment below. Do you believe in Ansu Fati's redemption? Or do you think he should seek new horizons? And of course, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell not to miss more stories like this, which go beyond goals and dribbles, straight from the heart of football. Until next time.